Oh. Hi there. My name is Keta Kosman. I publish Madison's Lumber Reporter. This is a newsletter out of Vancouver, BC in Canada that was started by Peter Madison in 1952. Every Friday we track more than 450 different softwood lumber and panel commodity prices that are used for home building in the US, Canada, and Japan. This is my submission to the NAHB, the U.S. National Association of Home Builders, to speak at their conference next year in 2021. The reason I think lumber prices would be useful to association members and others who follow U.S. home building activity is because the prices that we publish every Friday are for that week. However, the data that comes out of the government and different associations for U.S. housing starts and home building, home sales, and house price is usually for 2 months ago. So what I think is that lumber prices can be used as a good forecast indicator because it is a significant input cost to home building and is quite ahead of what the data for construction in the US is. I'm going to include some tables and graphs in this video to show what we do, the data that we cover, and what it can be used for. Okay, so here is a table of the recent highs and lows of lumber prices, and you can see it corresponds exactly with the highs and lows of the U.S. housing starts. This graph is a comparison of the past 2 years of benchmark Western spruce pine fir softwood lumber prices that goes into U.S. single-family home building. So the three main components, dimension lumber products that go into U.S. home building, and the black line is U.S. total housing starts, not single family, but total. Okay, and so to put some of this into perspective, approximately 65% of Canadian softwood lumber is sold into the US for home building. About 10% goes into Canada, and about a solid 6% goes to Japan. There is, in the past about 15 years, an increase in Canadian and US lumber sales into China. However, that is not really into home building. The wood bought by US and Canadian customers is standard grade number 2 and better. The wood bought in Japan of Canadian softwood lumber is premium grade number 1, also known as J grade, while what is bought by China is utility grade number 3 and quite often does not go into home building. It might be used for concrete forming for apartment buildings. Very often is remanufactured into other components, for example, turned to make railings and material like that. So thank you so much for the chance to submit to the NAHB for their conference next year in 2021. And do check my website, madisonsreport.com. The following week after we publish on Fridays, I put a small snippet blurb of a few of the most highest volume purchased softwood lumber commodities for folks who don't need to see the entire list or know the entire story, but do like to have an idea of what is happening with softwood lumber buying right now, to let them know what will be happening with U.S. home building in a couple of months.